Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't see it, but this past week there was a conjunction of Jupiter with Uranus, and the conjunction has historical significance to me because of the last couple of times it happened. I wasn't studying astrology at the time, but I was able to work out that conjunction brought about some interesting events in my life. So the first time it happened that I was alive for was in 1997. My family had just moved me across town, and I was having a lot of difficulty at school. Not only did I have to start over, making new friends again, but the location of where we moved to caused a lot of envy. My family was living really close to the school. Everybody would see where I would get on and off the school bus. It caused a lot of drama with classmates who were envious of where I was living, and that created a lot of chaos for me, I want to say, and I was very upset at the time, and caused a lot of rift between me and my family for causing all this trouble. I really didn't appreciate having a better location. I was young and naive at the time, and if anything, it was just a headache of moving everything, right? Now, the last conjunction was very significant in my life because it propelled me into this new chapter in my life, I want to say. I was working on my PhD, and I had just moved out of my family's home, and I was lost. I didn't know how to make new connections, and before I knew it, I got myself in serious trouble. I was dating a girl who was taking advantage of me financially. I almost dropped out of school. I wasn't eating right, and I got very ill. And when I heard theories about where COVID-19 had came from, I thought that maybe 10 years earlier, before COVID-19, I had gotten something from all the crap that I was eating. I was eating fish out of Lake Ontario. I was eating game meat, and eventually I got deathly ill. And when I first learned that COVID-19 had come from a bat, I started to wonder if I had come into contact with something similar. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. Fortunately, I don't think I spread it to too many people. It certainly didn't start a pandemic, right? But I got very lost because I fell for what economists call a sunk cost fallacy. I had already invested so much time, money, effort, headache, illness into this girl. I couldn't give it up. I'm a big sucker for sunk cost fallacy. To give you an idea of how badly I'm such a sucker for sunk cost fallacy, sometimes before I go on the first date, I have to ask myself, am I willing to create a sunk cost? Because I know I will chase sunk costs, and I'm such a sucker for it. I have to be careful about not watching my investment accounts because I will chase sunk costs there too. And last month when I was in Kerrville, Texas, I kept checking the weather forecast for Kerrville, and in the midst of checking the weather forecast every hour, I kind of forgot to check my 401k, my Roth IRA. So that was a good break from that. And I know the sunk cost fallacy inside and out. I can see other people falling for it. I can't stop myself from taking the plunge for some reason. And so sometimes I'm very overly cautious before I begin investing in anything. That's why a lot of times I forego even going on that first date. I don't want to create that precedence. Actually, a big part of my life is just one giant sunk cost fallacy, right? Where I work with my career right now, right? That you could almost describe that as a sunk cost fallacy. My art project is one giant sunk cost fallacy, right? My computer games that I'm programming, my solo sexual relationship with myself, all of those could be characterized as such, right? So I'm just a sucker for that. But here we are 14 years ago. I got involved with this girl. I almost dropped out of my studies, and it's kind of funny why I broke up with her. She had 2 children from a previous relationship, and she wasn't feeding them right. And she wasn't feeding them fish out of Lake Ontario or anything, but she was feeding them a lot of sugar, MSG, trans fat, the standard American diet. Now, that would be bad enough, but she was, I was supporting her financially. One day we had argued about some money issues, and she said, my kids need food. And I looked at all the crap that she was feeding her kids, and I didn't tell her this, but I'm like, gee, that's not food. And that was so incongruent with my personal beliefs. Had she not called it food, I might have let it slide, right? My kids really love whatever, right? Soda. My kids really love having a birthday cake. Had she described it like that, I might have let it slide. But she said my kids need food. That's kind of like somebody, I don't know, somebody's dealing with COVID-19, and they think that drinking bleach will cure their COVID-19. Oh my God, I need medicine. Can you buy me this jug of bleach? Right? Imagine that's how I heard it when I heard my ex-girlfriend say my kids need food. And so I broke up with her. I immediately regretted breaking up with her because I looked at my calendar, and next week there was going to be a coin show in downtown Rochester. I'm like, how am I going to meet a girl to take to a coin show in just 7 days? And the following Sunday, the coin show, it was a really nice day, and I decided I had to go to that coin show anyway. I'm going to go there and look for a new girlfriend. I got there, and I discovered that I actually didn't need the girl. I just needed to go out there and enjoy my life. And that was 14 years ago, if you can believe it. June 13th of 2010 was the day of that coin show. And around that time, Jupiter and Uranus were in conjunctions. Always bring out big turning points in my life. Back in 2022, Jupiter and Neptune came into conjunction. That was the beginning of my art career. And in 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn came into conjunction, I had a great time viewing that in Vantage, Washington. It was also around that time that I decided to move out of the city. And so here we are, Jupiter and Uranus. I always seem to begin a new chapter of my life every time we have one of these big conjunctions. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.